So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Robert. If this is your first time tuning in. So recently I was listening to a country song, and one of the lyrics was glorified prison cell, and he was talking about his career, his job. So I wanted to quickly talk about that because I've mentioned it before I even have heard the song. I even talked about golden handcuffs. That's how I referred to it. But yeah, I'm going to quickly talk about how I felt when I was employed and kind of some of the actions I took to maybe not feel that way, or to physically, put some actions into place. And I have something here digging out my trail here, but putting actions into place so that way I don't mentally feel like I'm in a glorified prison cell. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to quickly cover this up and then I'll get back to you guys real quick. All right, so like I was saying, we're going to quickly talk about some of the actions I took to not allow me to mentally be thinking like that, and to kind of put me in a better position to not be so dependent on my employer. So again, if you gain any value from this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on this video. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into it. So we did receive quite a bit of rain recently, so that's great. That's good news. We really needed it. We drove in one night when it was drizzling, and this was the first day we were getting rain. All the wildlife were out, the deer, the armadillos, possums. We saw all kinds of animals out. They were just enjoying the rain. But like I said, in that it was a country song, and the country song, the lyric was, glorified prison cell. And I'm sure a lot of people feel this way or can relate to that as well. Drop it down in the comments if you have ever felt this way, or if you're currently in that situation. So I'll quickly kind of describe mine. So mine, I was making, good money, 6 figures, and it didn't feel great towards the end. It felt great in the beginning, right? You're making a lot of money, you're pretty ecstatic, you're pretty happy about it. And this is money that a lot of people aspire to make, but maybe not so more now. Inflation has caught up to a lot of people, but a couple years ago, it was really awesome to be making that kind of money. But at the same time, you're getting overworked, and for lack of a better word, it's kind of like modern day slavery when you think about it, especially in my career where I was working. I can't go anywhere without asking for permission. If I was gonna, leave the floor, or, just to go use the restroom, I had to go basically ask for permission. If I wanted to take any days off, I had to ask for permission. If I was not going to show up, obviously I had to ask for permission. If I was not going to be at work, I had to be asking for permission. Even on my days off, I couldn't go outside a certain radius, because in case I was going to get called in. I couldn't go outside so many miles of my home, or outside of so many miles of my work environment. Feels like slavery, right? Modern day slavery. Now, not to compare it to how it was back then, but modern day slavery, which is crazy to think, right? You can't go outside of an imaginary line because in case you get called in. It's pretty wild. So yeah, it's pretty wild when you sit down and you think about it. It's like, hold on, I have to ask. Basically, I have to raise my hand to take a piss. I have to raise my hand to... It's kind of like when you're in school, when you have to raise your hand to take a piss, you have to raise your hand to leave the classroom. It's kind of the same thing, right? You have to ask permission to leave the floor to go to the restroom. You have to ask permission to take days off. Even then, you don't even know if you'll get the days off. I was just sitting there thinking, man, that's pretty wild that we're okay with this, right? We're fine with doing this just to earn a little bit of money, of things that we perceive as value, which is money today, right? And again, money's only valuable if people still believe in it, right? It becomes invaluable if people don't have any faith or any kind of belief in the money system. So yeah, it got me thinking. I was like, you know what, that's a good video to make. Thanks for that country song for kind of sparking that in me to make a quick video on it. But aside from that, a lot of it has to do with our money habits as well. That's where I wanted to kind of get to with this video, is that we feel that way as well because of how our habits have formed, how we spend that money. Aside from just the job itself, we can, you know, reduce our time in our prison cell, for lack of a better word, if we just have better money habits. Say for instance, you know, there's always that story about the McDonald's worker who ended up passing away with like $5 or $8 million. It was because of his money habits. He was putting away money every time he was getting paid, and investing it and not spending it. So a habit we have today in modern society is we earn more money, but then we also spend more money. There's a lot of people that I personally just see in and around my circle. You know, they'll make a little bit of money, but then they'll go spend it. Or sometimes they'll even leverage it, but not leverage it in a good way. So they may leverage it by taking out payday loans. You know, say they have an item they want to buy that's $500, but they only have $450. They'll go and take out a payday loan, or take out any kind of loan, you know, Klarna, or these, you know, these new things that are coming out with loans for even your food today, is what I've heard. You know, they'll leverage that, and then when they do get paid, they'll pay off the loan for the burrito they just picked up, or whatever they just picked up. Those are not great money habits. Now, if it's for necessities, it's a little bit different. If you need to put food on your table, you know, if you're having to take out loans for that, it's not a good situation, but at least you're doing it for sustenance, right? For maintaining yourself and your health and your body, right? It's a little bit different, but still, a lot of people don't do it for that. They do it for unnecessary things. But this is just entrapping you more and more and more. That cycle, that habit is entrapping you to stay, you know, committed, or to stay faithful to an employer, and making you feel like you're in a prison cell because you're having to be forced to be clocking in every single day. If you can break that money habit, and instead of, you know, spending all that money, maybe investing 50% of that money, the more you can invest, the faster you'll get out of this, you know, glorified prison cell, right? So if you can instill that habit in you as early as possible, again, not financial advice, do whatever you can do, but if you can instill that habit earlier and larger, if you can do a larger sum of money every single time you're getting paid, you can get out of that feeling like you're in a glorified prison cell. So one way I started doing that was through buying rental properties. When I was still employed, I still had three or four rental properties. So 3 or 4 rental properties is still throwing off, you know, I don't know, 35, 4, 5, 6, because one of them was an Airbnb at that time. So they're throwing off a good chunk of money. Let's just say that all the properties are throwing off a good chunk of money. So my mentality started to change a little bit of how I viewed being an employee. You know, it started to change my mentality and how I viewed being an employee, because I was no longer, you know, I didn't have to be a yes-em at work anymore, especially when there were like stupid things or things that would, you know, possibly endanger my health, right? I didn't necessarily have to do those anymore. It gave me a little bit more courage to stand up for things that I believed were correct and believed that were right. Man, these things just keep making up holes, man. It's got to be these armadillos. And it made me a little bit happier, because now I felt like every day when I woke up, I was working towards a goal, but I wasn't necessarily being forced to go to work. So if I lost my job, I wasn't gonna be on the streets tomorrow. Basically, is how I thought about it. If I lost my job, I wasn't gonna be on the streets tomorrow. I still have enough money to, you know, get through for a little while. And if I did lose my job, now I can be a little bit more picky on the next job I pick up, because I don't have to get a job, you know, in a day, in 2 days, in a week. I had some time. I bought some time using money to give me time to make a good decision and not a rush decision. So that's how I did it. Again, there's many ways you can do this. You can start side hustles. You can get into the real estate game. You can do different types of investments, just to give you that courage to not have to worry about if something happens tomorrow with my career, with my job, which today anything can happen, right? You know, you're not going to be stressed and panicky, and you won't get up every single morning, you know, just angry and pissed and upset that you have to get up for work and you have to do X, Y, and Z. Now you start to feel like you have a choice. You're doing this because you want to, not because you have to. And once you start thinking like that, it changes your whole day. It changes everything, even when you're still employed. So without further ado, be careful, be good, take care, and God bless. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.